In that scenario where there's 3 men trying to break into the house, it's just you, your husband, and your kids. Would you prefer that your husband attempt to dispatch the home intruders with his fists or with a firearm? Starting with you.
With a gun? That doesn't mean I want him to own one, though.
Okay, sure.
Well, since there would be probably no guns in the house, and I'd have to be the fist.
No, but assume like he could own a gun in that scenario. What would you prefer in that scenario if a gun was available to him?
Just don't. I'm really terrified of those. Like, that's just like me personally. Like,
Okay.
Those terrify me. It's like it's pointing at me, someone I know holding it. Like, I lose it. I get really scared.
So you would rather be invaded and killed than have him use a gun?
Well, we're going to be invaded either way, so at this point.
So you would rather he not protect himself and you because you don't like guns?
Sadly, that would have happened because I don't like guns. So in this scenario, that would unfortunately happen.
So you would rather die than him use a gun and kill than Schrader, is what you're saying?
Sure.
Can I ask why you don't like guns?
For the same reason that she would stay in the forest with a bear and hide from a guy who was out in the wilderness who could assist her with escaping from the bear, because she has what's called an irrational fear. Interestingly enough, do you mind if I ask you just a quick question? The Washington Examiner, I caught an article the other day. They were, of course, using Pew Research for this. One of the things they were talking about is why people are anti-immigrant, and they said one of the reasons that they are is because of ignorance. It's because of ignorance of other cultures and things like this, and the more that they're exposed to immigrants, the less they are adverse to immigrants because they're no longer ignorant of these immigrants. Do you think that the same thing could be happening here with you and firearms?
Maybe. I think personally, I never, like where I grew up, like this was never a topic, and like I think it became a topic recently nationally in my country, but growing up, like that was never a thing. Like I'm just not used to that being even into the conversation. Like I would never think that anybody I would meet would like own a gun, you know?
Okay.
Well, I mean, but do you believe that the reason that people are xenophobic is because they haven't been exposed to enough immigrants, and that if they were exposed to more immigrants, they would become less xenophobic, as this data would allude?
I don't know. I think that's honestly for me, that's like just a tough question. I don't know if it's exposure. I don't know if you necessarily, like, when you say exposure, do you mean like meeting people, or do you mean just like
meeting them, engaging with them, talking with them, working with them, things like that, right?
I think it's when you're like meeting a person, you can see he's just like another person, depending on, you know, like you're engaging with people from different cultural backgrounds and anything.
And how many guns have you held in your hand?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, none. Jesus, no.
None.
Yeah.
How many times have you been around guns?
It's been a few. I've met people that like parents have owned them. So like in the house, it's been like, oh, like look, that's like my dad's, and I was like, ugh. Like it's just like fear, literally.
But if we were to track the reasoning, then that there would be less xenophobia via exposure to more immigrants, then would not this also track that perhaps you would be less anti-gun with exposure to firearms?
I mean, maybe. I think like I could change that mindset. Like at the moment, though, I am terrified. Like it could be the most irrational of my fears, but it's definitely like a fear. And I know like in the.
But you would never tolerate xenophobia as being a rational fear if you were to find out that there was data that says you would be less xenophobic if you expose yourself to more immigrants. Wouldn't your advice to those people to be to expose yourself to more immigrants so you were less xenophobic?
Not really. I think you can research more on cultures instead of just like being physically like exposed and like in a one-to-one face-to-face kind of scene. So like learning, researching, reading, anything.
So you
really.
would tell people to read books about immigrants?
I mean, not just about immigrants, but it's just people. Like people
right.
migrate, people move all over. That's how it happened.
What the data suggested was that the more people are exposed to immigrants, the less xenophobic they were. That's what the data said, at least in this particular, and that stands to reason from your worldview, right? That would be the case. So wouldn't you recommend that people expose themselves to other cultures to be less xenophobic? Wouldn't you recommend that they do so if they were xenophobes?
Yeah, if that helps them not be like that, I think that's a great solution.
Yeah, so then my recommendation to you is to expose yourself to more firearms so that you don't have this kind of irrational fear, right?
Maybe one day.
Your answer?
Okay.
I forgot the question.
I think it was, in the scenario where there's 3 home intruders, you got kids, husband, you're in the home, would you prefer that your husband try to dispatch the intruders just with the self-defense of it, I guess your hands, or a firearm in that situation?
I mean, in my situation, there wouldn't be a firearm in the house, so we would probably be hiding and running and praying.
Okay, let me reframe the question. Comparing a situation where you don't have a firearm versus you do have a firearm, which scenario would you be more likely and more able to defend
Survive?
yourself?
Oh yeah, a firearm would help
Okay.
you survive.
So would you, if that's the case, would you then prefer to be in that scenario with a firearm, if a firearm was available?
I mean, I don't, not necessarily, to be honest.
Okay, so
Based on my worldview, not necessarily.
what's your worldview on this?
I mean, I believe in life after death, and I believe in, like, I don't think that. Huh? I mean, truly, like, I do. So.
But I mean, that's fine that you believe in life after death, but I assume you don't want to just expire today.
No, I don't. But I wouldn't like recommend my husband to go shooting down the intruder. I wouldn't. I would be hiding in the bathroom and praying with him and my kids.
Praying.
Yeah, I would.
Do you think? I mean, Andrew might be more apt to
That's my
address this than
worldview.
you.
That's
than
my
me.
worldview.
But so you would rather pray than have a firearm to dispatch the home intruders?
Yeah.
So you guys wouldn't.
So I mean,
You
like,
guys wouldn't try any other way, like even if like you knew we don't have a firearm, you would like you and your husband wouldn't go down there and try to fight them off like with knives or something.
I mean, it's a hypothetical situation, so it's hard to know, like with the adrenaline and the spur of the moment, what would happen. But that's what I would do. I would hide. Yeah, I would hide and
Would
pray.
you, let me ask you this. Do you have a mom and a dad who are still together by chance?
No.
No, okay. Do you have any relationship with your dad at all?
Yes.
Okay. When you were a little girl and he was around in your life, I don't know if he is or not. I didn't mean to frame it that way, but when you were a little girl, you're staying with your dad. If a home intruder broke in, would you have the expectation that he went and hid?
Would I have the expectation that what? I missed the last.
went
Yeah, that
and
your
hid.
father went and hid.
What?
Would you expect that your father would go and hide if somebody broke in where you were?
Or would you
he
expect
go
them
and
to
hide?
protect you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think my dad probably would have hid with us. You know?
Do you think that that's good, that he would hide, or do you think that it would be better if he faced off with the intruder who was breaking into your space?
I mean, I'm not here to speak for other people. That's just what.
Yeah, I know.
That's
That's
what
why
I
I'm not
would have
asking you
done.
to. I'm just
Can I
asking you to
ask
speak for
something?
you.
No. Hold on.
I mean, are
Yeah,
you?
I'm just-
I don't like when my worldview. I don't think that preserving life at all stakes is always the best option.
Wait, so if given the option between your life or the home intruder's life, you would prefer the home intruders?
I'm not gonna
Survive?
fight somebody. I'm not going to.
What about for your kids?
Yeah,
though?
you have children.
Yeah, well, I'll protect them and help them, and whether that's running away or doing whatever we can. But that's.
But you
all I'm
would you
gonna
not be
do.
willing to kill another individual if it means saving the life of your children?
I mean, if someone put a gun in my hand, sure, yeah, I would choose that. But I
Okay.
think that in this hypothetical situation, I don't have a gun. So
All right.
it doesn't seem to really match up.
Are you and your husband like afraid?
Yeah, but I
not
mean,
afraid
you could change
against
the hypothetical
self-defense.
situation
Like
by
if you
getting one,
even had a
right?
knife or.
No. And like, this is just the way that I feel. It's not standing for like,
All right.
Yeah, that's just the way that I feel.
Okay. All right. We will get back. Actually, before we do that, I have Killa of Serial. Can I have you read this one?
Okay, to the ladies.
Wait, into the mic. Into the
Oh,
mic.
sorry. To the ladies who answered one, tall, big P, negative attitude, would you choose him if he had a carry license? What if the shorter, chubby guy was also afraid of guns? Would you feel safer with him?
Does this change your answers? Anybody?
Yeah, I'd probably go with the other one.
So you answered 1, but you would switch to 2
Yeah.
based on the gun ownership.
Yeah.
Anybody
me,
else?
Like me nowadays, I wouldn't feel comfortable with
Okay.
that. So
Did anybody else answer 1? Does it change anything? Does it change your answer to the guy number 2 if he owns a firearm?